up, guys? Robert here, bringing you another video for Friday, November 7th, 2025. So let's get started. And hey, before I begin, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, taking the time to like, share, subscribe. Help me please reach my goal of 100 subscribers by the end of the year. I know you guys can do it. You guys are awesome. Being able to check out the videos and liking and comment. Love reading your comments and replying to them. And also, too, if you guys like true video game podcasts, I have one every week on Tuesdays. So we do a podcast, May and Dark Knight 316. I'll show his tag in the description here, but definitely come check out that podcast that we do. We talk about games, how it's meant to be. We take the politics out of it because you see a lot of gamers today, a lot of gaming channels, they're moving into the more of the politics aspects of, and they're a gaming channel. Well, we decided we're not going to do that. We'll give credit where credit's due. So, if there's something we need to celebrate that year or talk about, we'll briefly talk about it, but it's not going to be the main focus. Our main focus is gaming from true gamers. We've been playing games for over 30 years. I love talking about it, sharing with you. So definitely also, guys, check out that podcast. You don't want to miss that. So thank you guys so much. So the top story today is that there has been discovered that there may be a cross-buy for the PS5 and PC. A report came out from a rumor from X saying that there might be new symbols will be added soon, a website and a tool, but some nice features of kind of a cross-buy PS5 and PC, more of like a symbol when you start to buy things now. And so it's interesting to me that if that is the case, like, you can now start to play, just have kind of like your layout of the PlayStation now on PC, and then just download from the store there, or just start playing your PC, and you no longer are going to have to get a PS5 to be able to play. We know a lot of right now PC titles that are cross-play share the trophies. So for trophy hunters, I know we're not going to be able to really have two separate trophies, but it was interesting to me to see that there's a cross-buy with PC. So I'm kind of wondering how that market's going to expand with Sony using the PS5 to be able to just have like a cross-buy section. It's weird to me because I'm not used to playing on the PC to be able to do that, but if more PC gamers want to be able to check out the catalog of PS5 and they're willing to add some of their popular games, all for it. Let the PC gamers experience some PS5 games and be able to get out there and, definitely try it out, maybe a Spider-Man or a Horizon, and you can be able to try that out in any new first party. It would be interesting to see Astrobot and how much Astrobot stages you can run through and things like that. So it would be pretty interesting. This leaker from X talking about how, new icons and things like that. So if the rumors are true, hey, hopefully it's a feature that is going to be useful for us PS5 fans as we start to get further into this life cycle. So in our next news story, remakes have actually topped remasters in profitability, I guess you could say. One of the biggest remakes that they did was Oblivion, and that kind of shattered the market with how much it was made on PS5. But there was a research done saying that remakes make more money than remasters. So I want to give your thoughts on that. When the company did this remake, you see a lot of your games being a remake, like let's say Final Fantasy, for instance. That was one of the games that they said that the remakes made a lot of money. Rebirth, remake, things like that. Oblivion made a lot of money. But when they just take a game and they remaster it and then bring it to the PS5, you don't see a lot of profit in that. So remaking a game, hey, if you could do the remake well, then I think that's a good thing. You know, remake your game, be able to bring it out. But if you remaster it and then like you don't really change too much, and it's not like, you know, you really did, you just brought a PS4 game to PS5 and really didn't polish much, then I think that's where like fans kind of see that and they're just like, you just upgrade the graphics. Like, I could just go play this last gen one and I could still play the same thing. But what is interesting though is they said that that between 15 remakes and 27 remasters between 2024 and 2025, they said that the spending worldwide is on average 2.2 times higher on a remakes compared to remaster. And during this time frame, users collectively spent 1.4 billion on remakes and remasters. When the total is broken down, remakes like Resident Evil 4, Silent Hill 2, and Demon Souls are priced higher than the remasters as compared to, you know, their counterpart. But also they said that there was a that during the given time period, Oblivion Remastered was the biggest of any remake or remaster, tracking 7 million players. So according to the research, when you start to look at games like that, you know, Oblivion topping the charts here. But what are you guys' thoughts? Do you prefer a remake or do you prefer a remaster of games? I'm all for both. I think if you do a remake and it's well, go for it. If you do a remaster, go in, you know, polish it up. I think some people though, they don't want to pay for a game that, like, you know, you take from PS4 and you just polish it up. Like, what the PS5 was generally designed, what they were going to do was to be able to take your old disc and then render up the graphics and, you know, how fast you can play it and things like that too. So you think like Spider-Man, when they showed how fast the Spider-Man on PS4 and 5 were able to run, but I could still take my PS4 Spider-Man, put it on my PS5, and it would generally run a little bit faster and look a lot better. So these days, it's, in my opinion, comes down to preference. And so, I don't know if you guys heard the reports, but PlayStation Portal, I got it sitting there up there. You guys see it every week. But they did a new update. Now, they're improving the cloud streaming library that you can do. Over 2,800 games now. Improve the UI. You know, the comment here says that cloud streaming unlocks new ways to play. Enjoy side-by-side with friends who's using your PS5 under a separate account, or stream favorite games with someone while they watch a movie on the console. Cloud streaming also makes it easier to enjoy your PS5 games on the go, at a hotel, cafe, a friend's place, or anywhere with a high-speed internet, since you could keep playing even when your console back home is powered off or by another account. So I thought this was interesting. I was testing it a little bit this week. I unfortunately had to update it, so I couldn't test it a lot, but I was testing out Expedition 33 and Final Fantasy VII Remake. And not only was it fun playing those games on there, but you basically, what I saw from testing it just for this short amount of time was you were able to, your library that you have, so if you guys don't have a portal, you have to link your portal to your console. And then once you link it to your console, you can either play, you know, from someplace, have your console linked up, or when you get the update, you can kind of scan the QR code, link your account, and then when you link your account, you have access to all the games that you have purchased, or you know, in your library, things like that. So then you can go to your library, and if you have digital games in there, you can play your library. So I have the digital copy of Expedition 33. So I went and tried it out on the portal, and it was it ran great for a while. For me, it was just connection issues. You know, it just depends on how fast your internet is. But being able to play it, it was fun. I kind of want to try it a little bit more when I get a chance. But I'm afraid, because how big the portal is. I'm afraid of, like, if I take it to, you know, a coffee shop, then you know, you break it. That's what I don't want to do. But yeah, it was fun playing it. I think being able to do it, I want to test out more functions at some point. Maybe I'll make a video on it. But yeah, it was fun. I was sitting at my desk and just testing it out while I was, trying to do some other things on my computer. But I wanted to sit there and try the Portal while, while I'm just enjoying the day after work. So, but it was fun times. I liked playing Expedition 33. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy Remake just to test it. But I'm curious to know when you're streaming like games from the catalog, because I didn't test that, how well that's going to be when I'm not doing it from my house. I'm curious to know when I make it to a coffee shop and I try it, is it going to be as fast as what I was used to? So PS Portal, if you have one, let me know your thoughts. How much do you play it? I don't play it as much. I wish I could. I want to just, lay in bed sometime and play it. Maybe do like it'd be good for like a 30 for 30 platinum thing. You sit there, see how many platinums you can play on your Portal, and be able to do it, make it fun like that. But yeah, I'm hoping that what they could do for that option is also have it some way that you could play your Portal and then still stream. I think that would be an interesting concept. But if, like how you could do with your PS5 right now, or even do like video capture and things like that, I think that would be an interesting kind of update for them to have. But overall, satisfied with what they did with the PS Portal. Excited for it. I'm going to try to test out more when I get the chance. Hopefully I can save up some money I want to get the black PS Portal. That one looks pretty cool, and I can have that one showing off on my shelf up here for a little bit. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts? Let me know. And so, each month I like to take a look at what was the top games downloaded for the previous month. So in October, we had a lot of big games out, but what were the top games that were downloaded and that you guys played? So according to the PlayStation, let me give you the top 5. So the top 5 of these games show that it's Battlefield 6, Ghost of Yotime, NBA 2K26, EA Sports, FC26, and Arc Raiders. Now, I've been hearing Arc Raiders have been taking off as a really great game. I haven't played it yet. So if you have played Arc Raiders, let me know your thoughts on that game. Should I spend the money to go get it? Should I play it? Tell me about it in the comments. But out of these top 5 games, how many games have you guys played? I haven't played any of them. Back in the day, I used to play a lot of sports games. But once things like NBA, in this case 2K26, I never got, when I became Trophy Hunter, like those games were harder for me because you had to put in so many hours to it. And especially getting a good player, when you build like your My Team and stuff like that, I just never had the time or patience, I could say, to be able to build my team and get good at it and stuff like that. And, of course, my basketball team never wins. So, what's the point of playing with my team if they never win? So, but all joking aside, guys, I could see, NBA 2K26, people were playing because the season just started. So, but Battlefield 6, I've been hearing great things about that. Ghost of Yotime, I've been hearing things about that. Mixed reviews on that one, but yeah, it looks like a top 2 download for that game. So definitely want to know your guys' thoughts on those top 5 that I read off. How many of those games are you guys playing? Have you tested it? Or you're kind of in the boat like, it's all right. It's 5 games I play at some point. So let me know in the comments. This next PlayStation story was interesting, and I'm curious to know if you guys ran into this. So in this report, they have dynamic pricing on the PlayStation Store now. This screenshot I'm going to show you shows that in this example is Red Dead Redemption, that one person's account showed that it was $19.99, and then that same person within another account, their girlfriends or somebody's like that, looks at the exact same game of Red Dead Redemption 2 and it's $14.99. So they're saying that whether or not this is dynamic pricing per like user basis, or is it something of maybe there's an error, or is it just the pricing is different based off of region. This didn't sound like it was a region thing of, one person's playing in a different country and then the other person's playing in this other country, and then, the prices are different. It sounds like that it's like the same household but different accounts. Dynamic pricing, it could be happening because they could be pushing prices for people who may not play as often certain games, and they want to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm giving you guys a $5 discount and you can go and buy this, and then you might actually be interested in buying it at that price, and then you end up buying it. I don't know. Rumors on that one. Not sure if Sony is doing that, what it looks like, but it's interesting out there. So I'll be curious to know if you guys experience that issue as well with dynamic pricing, whether or not it's something that you guys are running into when you're looking to purchase games. And now, of course, I talked a while back that there's a new feature of showing you what the lowest price is within the last 30 days. So I wonder if this is some kind of, something within the store that's incorporated within that to be able to maybe like they're lowering the price on a next sale, and this price it was just like right after another sale. So I don't know. I haven't heard about it. I haven't experienced it. I haven't seen it when I've been purchasing from the store, but yeah, I'll be curious to know. What do you guys think? Let me know. I thought this story was interesting that Naughty Dog, the publisher behind Uncharted, Last of Us, they're celebrating 40 years. I don't remember a lot of games growing up from Naughty Dog, probably because, when they created the Crash Bandicoot and things like that, I just played them briefly, but didn't really hear, like a big name publisher like, Naughty Dog. But celebrating 40 years, so even though, recently they haven't had much of games that were interesting, in my opinion, it is congrats to see that a company is around for 40 years and being able to hopefully, another 40 years, and they'll be able to talk about this around the PS10 or something like that. But, congrats to Naughty Dog for celebrating 40 years. Hopefully they come up with a good IP that is going to be coming up for the next, next round of console generation, that they can come up with a new IP. Hopefully it's something good. I really liked Uncharted, but I'm hoping that, they don't remaster or remake an Uncharted. I'm hoping it's more of like they come up with a new game and it takes off and it's good and fans will love it. So that's what I'm hoping. On this channel, I like to bring up kind of JRPG news as we start to talk about PlayStation games. And one of the big ones that I've been talking about a lot because they've been in the news a lot is Square Enix. Now, in this report, it says that Square Enix has their financial reports that sales decline, but profits grow and HD games return to profitability. So, according to this document, their sales were down about 15%, but operating income was up about 28%, which is interesting because we have seen Square Enix kind of going into a more, I wouldn't say troubled season, but as a company, they're kind of in a hard situation because like they're trying to get new fans of their older stuff, like the Final Fantasies and things like that, but reports are starting to show that, like the older crowd likes Final Fantasy. It's harder to get the younger generation to like Final Fantasy right now, or the way that they're kind of pushing and marketing and things like that. But they've been having success with their HD remakes. So like in my mind, I'm thinking, if you're making profit with the HD remasters, remakes, things like that, like your Octopath Travelers, why not keep pushing that, With that too, like they are also talking about, they do a lot of their cell phone stuff too. They saw kind of their operating income get better even in the mobile market, but sales went down, of course. So I see Square Enix kind of in a tough situation right now because they just recently talked about how they have a new 3-year plan and things like that, where they're going to, start pushing some more games that they, come up with a new game like every 3 years that's more of their popular franchises, but also start promoting a little bit of their other games that might not be as popular, but they could push things out. But it makes me wonder, though, one of the games that we want is Chrono Trigger. So if you do like an HD 2D remaster of a Chrono Trigger, why not release something like that? If you're seeing that you're profitable within that market of the kind of the HD games, why not make something like that? That would be an awesome game to be able to have and be able to go and, you know, push. And I think you'd probably drop a million copies right out the gate. Like at Final Fantasy Tactics. Final Fantasy Tactics is this remaster that you did, was well received, and it was such a great game. I platinumed that. Maybe it's gonna go on the channel of my journey through there. But yeah, Square Enix, you got to start coming up with some new games. Like, what's Final Fantasy 17 gonna look like? So I'll be curious to know. News cycle with Square Enix. Unfortunately, this report talks about that Square Enix is doing layoffs, which is interesting to me because we just got done talking about how their operating profits are good and, you know, the sales decline, but they're making money. And then we hear about this story. You know, according to the report, it says that the staff is going to be cut as part of a fundamental restructuring of the overseas publishing organization, and that Square Enix wants to become more lean and agile, as the president says. And the cuts were not confirmed, but they said that almost 140 people at their London office alone were at risk of being laid off. So the cuts affecting are including IT, marketing, publishing, sales, and QA, which is interesting that we hear about that layoff because Square Enix did come out and say that they want at least 70% of their games, when they're looking at, you know, their sales, marketing, those ones, IT, that we're looking at quality assurance, done by AI. So maybe it's a way that they want to be able to just use AI for those departments as they start to do layoffs. But it's a sad thing to hear because, like, in my opinion, if you're not making money, it should come from that person who's leading the company, who's taking the pay cut and things like that. Because these guys, you know, they pour their heart into building the games and doing, and, you know, trying to become successful about building this game. But if you are the one running the show and your vision isn't necessarily as good, like, then why do these guys get affected? Did they not make a good game? Like, the game came from a direction of somebody. So that's where I think, that's the part I don't like. I think it's I talk about this all the time when I see with like Phil Spencer and Xbox, like, you're doing layoffs, but then you made these record profits elsewhere. So I think it's a little tough for these companies. I know, you know, they got shareholders and investors and people like that they got to talk to, but it's just sad time to be able to hear things like that, especially a company like Square Enix. I know they were struggling recently, but hopefully there's good news. Hopefully the people who in their London office, they can find something that they enjoy. Maybe they'll create their own, you know, RPGs later on, but who knows? Hopefully things work out and, you know, they find something that they enjoy, maybe much better than what they had before. But yeah, that's today's news stories, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for taking the time sitting here hearing me ramble about this week's news and JRPG. You know, I just want to let you guys know my Wednesday video was the 5 years of PlayStation. We're kind of coming up to our anniversary next week, but I wanted to talk about a couple failures that I've seen from having the PS5 over the last 5 years. Now, I will go into the celebration of the PS5 as I talked about in that video, but I believe, in my opinion, a lot of people aren't going to be talking about the failures as we come to a 5-year anniversary. They're not going to talk about things that I enjoyed, as you see on the PS4. Like, one of the things I enjoyed, look at the Final Fantasy IV background I have. I love that when I'm loading up my PS5, but we don't get things like that. So being able to talk about things like that, I want to kind of give you guys a heads up on that. But next week's video, next Wednesday's video, I will be talking about the anniversary of PS5 and, you know, give you guys a couple things I really like about it. So, and celebrate the anniversary. But also, I want to let you guys know too, as I talked about at the top of the video, I am in a weekly podcast on Tuesdays with Dark Knight 316. We talk about gaming culture, maybe, you know, open a loot box here and there, like we like to call it, but giving you guys a heads up on that one. You know, the way we do it, we talk about it from true gaming standpoint. As I mentioned, a lot of gaming channels today are more branded as like gaming, but they talk about politics. We're trying to draw the line of just talking about gaming. We see a gaming report, we're going to give you our opinion, and that's the way that we want to design that podcast. So definitely, guys, check it out. I'll link it in the description. You'll probably see it on the screen someplace, but definitely check it out, guys. And, you know, thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you guys. And as always, remember, keep gaming. Thanks, guys.